All right, one day to my birthday, let's get to know me. And today we're talking limerence. Story time! All right, so ladies, I can speak about limerence because I've dealt with it before. And I know that I've said it in a message that the Lord God has given me to share with my community. He said that some of us be dealing with limerence and we think that this is our person. You get what I'm saying? And I've been there. Okay, so let's talk about it. So we're just going to name him Kobe. Okay, his name is Kobe. So I started dating Kobe and things were moving very swiftly, very fast. You know what I'm saying? Very swiftly, very fast. I mean, we were doing adult things very swiftly, very fast. And even when I tried to slow things down, like, this is moving really fast. He was like, no, like that's the way things go when you really, vibing and the chemistry is strong and so on and so forth. Like, let's just go with the flow. Don't get jiggy with it. Nah. So, my lost in the sauce, because I am dematized, is like, okay, you know what I'm saying? We're just going to go with the flow. But, obviously, I could not stop my emotions and my feelings from growing because we were doing so much so soon, okay? And so I was just like, you know what, listen, you gonna have to wrap it up. You're gonna have to let whoever know, you know what I'm saying, whatever situations you got on the outside of this, you're gonna have to wrap that up. You might as well go ahead and give me a key to the house or the code to the garage, something. You know what I mean? Because we're just vibing on a level that I just know we supposed to be together. You know what I'm saying? This is my soulmate. This is my person. If we doing all this, we need to go ahead and just, you know what I'm saying, put the bow on it. Because, listen, this is what it is, right? And moving very swiftly, might I add, okay? Moving very swiftly. I cannot say that enough. Moving very swiftly. And so I remember talking to Destiny Swapper, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, I did a video about her and her husband before. I mentioned how I was once friends with a couple, you know what I'm saying? And so, I don't really know where how I feel about it these days, you know what I'm saying? Like being that person in the middle. I don't really know how I feel about it because I've been that person for several couples, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, no thank you. But I was talking to Destiny Swapper and her husband about the situation. And by Destiny Swapper, I mean, you would have to go watch the video. I did it earlier this year. So it's a few videos back. But this is Destiny Swapper, who I told and showed my dream home. And she went and bought the house. But anyways, and she was my maid of honor as well for my wedding. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I just remember talking to her and him about the guy, Kobe, right? And I'm like, listen, I just want to be whatever he like. You can have whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. Okay. But that's how delusional I was, okay? I wanted to be whatever he wanted, whatever he liked. And this is my message, and say the life lesson that I got from that is, ladies, we got to stop trying to be somebody's type. We got to stop trying to be somebody's preference, because, and this is where the Lord God had talked to me about coming to America. If you remember, right, whatever you like, right? And he had our ass bouncing on one fucking foot and saying, ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, okay? So, bitch, be careful about wanting to be whatever somebody likes, okay? Be careful, because that whole preference, my type shit, bitch, will have you up shit's creek. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I want you to understand, he left from his home to go find Lisa, and Lisa wasn't, or hopping on one motherfucking foot, bitch. So, don't try to be whatever the fuck he likes, okay? Because you don't know what that is, in all honesty. A lot of these ninjas are not necessarily dealing with a type, okay? Their type could be anybody who got their legs open, Okay? And you trying to be wife. Okay? That ain't his type. Okay? So that was my lesson there. But I did tell her and him, I just want to be whatever he likes. Say he can get whatever he likes. And ultimately, we're not together. You get what I'm saying? Like, that never happened. It never came to pass because he wasn't my person, and I was dealing with limerence in the way that he was the object of my affection. And I had all these delusions and fantasies about who he was or who I thought he was, and trying to picture myself in his life and how I fit into his world, and all these things, right? But none of it was concrete. None of it was actually real, because though we were doing adult things and we were moving swiftly, okay, though we were doing adult things and moving swiftly, it was all very surface level. You know what I mean? When I say very surface level, very surface level. Whenever we would start talking on a deeper level about things, right, I noticed he would backtrack. Like, he would try to, wait a minute, let me get out of this, because like he would try to change the subject. He would try to oh, it ain't that deep. Oh, but we were just really getting into deep things. And I was just truly dealing with someone who was emotionally unavailable, but so was I. So it wasn't like he wasn't mirroring me, because he was, right? I just didn't understand what emotional unavailability was up until that point. And he taught me that, if you will, right? Because shortly after we stopped messing around, I went on my abstinence journey for 2 whole years. I just was, cookie jar shut, because I needed to know what I was overlooking within myself, right? I needed to know what am I missing, about myself. Perhaps I need to heal instead of wanting to date, you know what I'm saying? Wanting to go out and do the things, because baby girl was definitely on her Sex in the City timeline. Okay. Now, I'm not saying I was popping pee like that, but I am saying that I was single. I was just coming out of a relationship. Prior to that, I was married. So, I had been in the house, you know what I'm saying? And what Cardi say? I'm outside. I was outside just for a little bit, because I'm not necessarily that person that you're going to meet outside. I'm more than likely the person you're going to meet through somebody. It's always a mutual. And even Kobe was through a mutual. But I was getting out there more, if you will, going out more than I had in prior times, aside from when I would go out with my significant other, So, yeah, I was dating, and it was, like I said, I was on my Sex in the City timeline, you know what I mean? And I just so happened to not be on it too long. But when I came across this one, I was like, Daddy, this one. You know what I'm saying? Daddy, this is the one, right? And Daddy was like, yeah, no, So just be careful about trying to be somebody's type, because you may not even realize it, but you're dealing with limerence. Because once I started to really pay attention to certain things, it would give me the ick. And I'm like, wait a minute. Not that isn't, normal, so to say, because you're not going to like everything about your person. But what I mean is, the fantasy that I had created wasn't true. It wasn't real. There was so much about this person that I did not know. So how could I say that this was the one? How could I say that I was in love? How can I say that, hey, you know what I'm saying, we need to be together? How could I say these things and want to be whatever it is he wanted, when I didn't even know who he was to know what he wanted, So, yeah. Just a lesson I learned. You know what I'm saying?